Good morning to all of you. I thought I'll make a small backup video to the first video that I made. In fact, it is based on some feedback that I got through mails, and there was a particular teacher who said, why didn't you jump into the solution right away? So I thought I'd do a small explanatory note. The video itself is, if you see, is split into three parts. The first part is an introduction part. The second part is where I use a problem and try and solve it in two methods. And the third part is where I elicited a response from my audience on any alternate solution that was possible. Let me jump into the problem. If you see the problem itself, I solved it first by constructing the equation. The reason behind that was that children were more used to traditional problem solving. It is by constructing or by forming equations is how they were introduced to these kind of problems. The second method, I would have used an alternate thinking process. If you see, I would have substituted abstract concepts which I had introduced in method 1. In fact, if you see, many of us have this problem of scaling initially when introduced to abstract terms like A, B, C, X, Y, Z and so on. Some children take months to do this, and some of them find that it may not settle down at all their head. In fact, there was a whole movie which was made on learning disability, a wonderful movie which came in Hindi. Going back to the second method is when I abandoned traditional abstract problem solving method and I used something called language processing. If you see, I did not use ABC in the second method. I actually used terms like number of oranges, price per orange and so on. I recommend to use this till the child is comfortable in scaling that wall. This process should continue for a while till children are more comfortable instead of using abstract terms. We call this near language processing, and it's something which can be used in classroom sessions too, till children come to terms with abstract. After that, you can use anything, A, B, C. In fact, I remember using even Greek terms like alpha, beta, gamma, delta and so on. That's not a problem later. In fact, when the teachers said, why didn't you use LCM, what I wanted to convey is that there are multiple solutions possible, and the whole exercise was about enjoying the process. It's not about solutions alone. As I say, enjoy the journey and the destination will become easy. The child should be taken through some methods which will be not only entertaining but also fun. And once you teach the child how to play around, then he will not only be comfortable but also the ideas that pop up in his head will be wonderful to listen to.
Approach 1. Number of oranges in basket 1 and basket 2 be mn. Let the price per orange be p. We have 3 variables and 2 equations. The problem is not solvable.
Absolutely true, but if you see the formation of the equation, where I said the left hand side is a product and the right hand side is also a product, that is the interesting part. Only when you form the equation and you look at the right hand side, 35. 7 into 5 is a solution. Imagine if there's a child who comes up and said 35 into 1 is also a solution. Why can't the price per orange be 1? Isn't it a superior solution to 7 into 5? If you see the construction of the problem, I have not mentioned that there should be whole numbers anywhere. Imagine if there's one child who comes up with another alternate solution, which is, let us say, if it is 50 paise, the number of oranges could be 70, or it's 25 paise. the number of oranges could be 140. You are opening up multiple vistas in this child. There are two objectives which I had in mind when I chose this problem. The first objective was that the child or whoever is doing this problem will definitely face a roadblock when using traditional problem solving method, and he had to use alternate thinking. The second objective was, it's an open-ended question. There were no restrictions on hypothesis. You are free to assume whatever solution that comes into mind based on your hypothesis. So that's why I chose this question. The thought process behind choosing this question was that multiple solutions were possible. It was useful to use this as a tool very early to a child. Introduce him to this, that there were multiple solutions for him. Two subtle philosophies which you can again drive. One is that life is not about one solution. You can come up with alternate solutions when you face roadblocks. The whole classroom process that is being used now is that you should use only one method or one solution. That should be this. This is not what you should be doing in classrooms. Imagine if you adopt some of these methods, you have a wonderful thinking child, and that is the objective of this whole exercise. Thank you for watching. Now I think you can go back to the video and look at it from a new angle, and then you will understand what exactly I had in mind when I chose this problem. Thank you once again.